So welcome back guys, you are watching Rising Coders Era, and in previous video we have just understand that what is bubble sort, the working of bubble sort and how does it works. Step by step explanation was given to you guys, and also the notes I have just explained each and everything. You will get the notes and source code inside the description, and in this video we are just going to program the bubble sort code. We are going to write the Java code for the bubble sort, and I'm just going to explain you line by line that what is the thing, how we can write the Java code. I'm just going to explain it inside this video, and if you are not subscribed to the channel, just subscribe to the channel, and let's get started guys to coding part. Alright guys, and here we are inside the code, and first of all we are just going to know that how does it work. Suppose we are just going to give a number to that particular thing, then how it is going to work. Guys, here we are just going to give some numbers, and we are just going to create an array first of all, and for that we need to write here integer. We are just going to write array, and inside this you can just write some numbers. So right now we are having some numbers. Like, now what will happen, what will our bubble sort do? It is going to compare these first two values. If first one is greater, then it is going to swap. Now here what will happen, okay, there will be 34, and then we will just move to the 64. This is going to be swap. Then it is going to check for 64 and 25. In 64 and 25 we will see that 64 is greater than 25. Yes, then we are just going to swap it. So you will get, okay, you will get 25. Sorry. So we will get here 25, and then you will get the 64 over here. Okay, then 64 and 12 we will just move to the next step. 64 12 we are just going to swap it. So 12 will be at this point and 64 will be at this point. So 64, then we will check 64 22. Okay, 22 should be at the first place, so we are just going to swap it. So 22, and here you will get at the end point, that is going to be 64, the last bubble up value at this point. Okay, so we got the last bubble up value at this point. Got these values 34, 25, 12, 22 and 64. 64 is the bubble up value in the first iteration, so we are not going to check this. In the next iteration or next pass we will just compare this value. So we are just going to copy this guys. We are just going to copy this guys, and we are just going to paste it. In this what we will see the 34 is greater than 25. Then we are just going to swap them. So 25 is going to be at this point, and then 34 is going to be at this point. We are going to compare 34 and 12. Okay, so 34 is greater than 12, so we are just going to swap it. So here there will be 34. Okay, 34 here there will be. Then we will compare 34 and 22. Then we are just going to make here 34. We are just going to make here 34. If after getting this in the second pass you get the second largest value, so second largest bubble up value, and right now we are just going to move to the next pass. So in next pass what will happen, 25 12. So we found that the 25 is greater than 12. The 12, then you will get here 25. Then we will compare 25 with 22. Okay, 25 is greater than 22 will be at this point, and 25 will be at this point. Then 25 34. Okay, we don't need to compare because it is already done, so we don't compare them. So the third largest value you get 25 over here, third bubble up value. Now it is sorted, but our machine will check again, and there will be one more iteration. It will just compare this value, and if it is not needed to swap, it is not going to swap, and then it is going to say that all these values are sorted. So you will get at the last, you will get 12 22 25 34 64. Okay, so in this way you will get. So we will just write the Java code for this. Now you just have to know, you just have to focus over here. I'm going to explain all the things step by step. We are going to create some methods. Now we need to print all these array line in line. So what we will do, we are just going to create a method. So for that what we have to write, we are just going to write public static void. We will create a method name as print array. Okay, we will create a method name as print array, and inside this we are going to pass the parameter integer of array. Okay, integer of array, and inside this what we will do, we are just going to use an enhanced for loop, or you can just say it as for each loop. So for integer of number into array, and here we are just going to print. So I'm just going to write system.out.println. Basically we are not going to use ln, we are just going to write print, because we just have to print all these numbers on the same line. If you want to print it on another line, then you can just use ln. So what we can do, we just have to print this. So it is just stored inside this num variable plus, and we need a space. So I'm just going to create a space here, and at this point we are just going to write system.out.print and ln. Now when we will run the code, nothing is going to happen because we have not called this function, we have not called this method. So for that, what we have to do, we just have to write here that we are just going to write print array, and inside this we are just going to write ARR. This is going to be the argument. Now when we are just going to run the code, okay, we are just going to run the code. We are just going to run the code and you will get all the values line by line. Okay, 64, 34, 25, 12 and 22. So we can just call it as original array. So here I'm just going to write system dot out dot print print, what is happening, print ln, and here we will write original array. Okay, so I'm just going to close this and just move up. So this is going to be original array. And then similarly, after the sorting process, we will get the sorted array. So here I'm just going to rename this as sorted array. Okay, sorted array. And you will get this. Right now when we will run, it is not going to sort because we have not write the function, we have not write the method for that. Okay, so sorted array you will get, guys. So we will just write the code, we will just write the Java code for that. Now we will just create a method for sorting the array using bubble sort. What we will do, guys, we are just going to write the method. So I'm just going to make some comments over here so that you will understand this properly. Method to perform bubble sort. So here I'm just going to do one thing, public. Okay, we will do here one thing, public, then we will write class. Okay, wait a minute, public class, and the function name, basically we are just going to call this method. So method name we will just write here bubble sort only, bubble sort we will just use here, and inside this integer of array we are just going to do the parameters over here. They are going to be the parameters over here. Now here basically we are going to use the two loops, and we are just going to use a for loop. Okay, first we will use the for loop, but before moving to the for loop, we need to declare one variable which will calculate the length of the array. We need to calculate the length of array. Now here you can just see we are having some numbers inside this array, and we need to calculate this array length. Okay, because we want to reach up to this point. Okay, at this point this will be j and this will be j plus 1. So there must be one variable. So there must be one variable which will calculate the length. So for that we will do here, we are just going to create a variable name as length. Okay, length, what is happening, length, and then we will just write here that array dot length, length. Okay, now when you are just going to system.out.print and you are just going to log it into console, you will get the length. So the length will be 1 2 3 4 5. So you will get the 5 as length if you just log it. So let's log it. Okay, system.out.println, and here you can just do one thing, you can just write length and run this. You will just get the 5 as the length. Now here there is some error, system.out.println. What's the error over here? Bubble sort public class. Okay, so we just have to write here public static. By mistake I just did here. So public static void and then bubble sort. Now we will just run the code, and here nothing will occur. Basically right now it is not going to show you because we have not logged this on this console. So we need to call this function, call this method over here. So we will write bubble sort, and inside this we are just going to write ARR. That is going to be the argument, and we are just going to run this, and after running this you will get some length, that is 5 over here. Okay. Now when you will get the 5 as the length, what we will do, we are just going to make this comment, or we are just going to remove this, and for our understanding purpose length is equal to 5. Okay, so what we will do, first thing we need to do, and we are going to start the array searching from index 0. That means I is going to be equal to 0. We just want to start from 0. Then next thing we have to do here, and up to which point we have to reach, up to which point we have to move. Now when you see at this point there will be j, and at this point there will be j plus 1. Okay, and what we want to do, we just have to move up to this point, not this point, because we just have to move up to this point, up to 22. So this should be less than length. If we will just write here, where is it? Okay, we will write I should be less than length. So what will happen, it will just move up to fourth point. Okay, now what will happen, this is going to be your index 0, this is going to be index number 1, this is going to be 2, this is going to be 3, and this is going to be 4. So let me back, guys, and here I have just created the index as well so that we will understand it more properly. So this is at index 0, you can just see there is 34, and we need to move up to this point. Okay, up to 3 index, that means we need to move up to 22. Now when I'm just going to do I is going to be less than length, that means less than length, that means less than 5, that means it will move up to 4, we need to move up to 3. So what we will do, -1. So 4 minus 1, you will get 3, and we will move up to this index up to 22. And then what we will do, we will just do one thing, we will just increment I plus plus, and then we will just move to the next loop. So in the next loop we are just going to create j, and j is also going to start from 0. Okay, we are going to start from 0, j is going to be this, and j plus 1 is going to be this. So we are going to start from 0, and we will move up to this point 22. The reason behind that this is going to be j and this is going to be j plus 1. Okay, we will see up to which point we need to move. So j should be less than length minus 1. We know length minus 1, it should be length minus 1. But one more thing we need to do, we will just see it in some seconds. J plus plus, and this is the loop. Length minus 1, why we are just writing this? Because we have to move up to this, because at this point this will be j and this is going to be j plus 1. Okay. So one thing we have to notice that when we will just complete the first iteration, you will get the first bubble up value, that is going to be 64. In the second iteration you will get the 34. Now when this is just sorted, this is you can just see the right hand side, they are just sorted, the greatest value is present over there. Then we don't need to check it. Why we will check it again and again? This will increase our time. So what we will do here, we will just write length minus I minus 1. Now we are just going to compare these two values, array of j, and we will just do compare that it is going to be greater, it is going to be greater j plus 1. If this is going to happen, then only we need to swap the two values. Okay, if array of j, right now you can just see this is going to be 0 at first starting point, and this is going to be j plus 1, that means 0 plus 1, so it is going to be 25 in the next point. That means the next number, that means the adjacent number. If this is going to be greater, okay, we just do that only the case if first number is greater than the second, then only we need to swap that. We need to swap them. So what we will write, we will just create here integer temp variable. Okay, so you can just create temp variable here, or you can create temp variable at this point. You can just see in notes I have just created over here. For right now I'm just going to create over here, and we are just going to write array of j. So the value will be stored array of j into temp, and array of j is going to be equal to, we are going to write array of j plus 1. So array of j is equal to array of j plus 1, and array of j is being stored in temp variable. Now we will write array of j, where is it, array of j plus 1 is going to be equal to temp variable. No, we will just print directly the method. So you can just write here print array, and here we are just going to pass the argument for that. Okay, now we will just run the code, and you will get over here that this array is sorted. You can just see 12, 22, 25, 34, 64. You got these values. 12, 22, 25, 34, 64. If you want to see all the iteration, you can just move it alt and up arrow, it will just move upside, and then we will just run the code again, and you will find out that yes, this is the thing which we understand. Okay, this is 34, 25, 12, 22, 64. You can just see over here as well, we have just understand this. And then you got 25, 12, 22, 34 and 64. You got this over here. Then you got 12, 22, 25, 34, 64. This is just sorted. That's all guys for this video. Thank you guys for watching this video. We will see in next video with the another concepts. Thank you guys for watching this video.